Welcome to the Weekly Huddle YouTube channel, and I'm here for the first ever mock draft on this channel. Something I do in my own personal time is scout and do mock drafts myself, so I'm happy to finally be bringing one to the Weekly Huddle, and I'm super excited to see what you guys think of my picks. I'm going to be doing trades for the entire first round. This is based off my own personal scouting reports on these players, and this is a what I would do mock draft, so some of these picks may not actually happen or probably will never happen in real life, but this is what I would do if I was in the position of each GM. And first up, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. No surprise here, going Trevor Lawrence. One of the most pro-ready quarterbacks right now. I've been seeing the Chris Sims and all those people talking about Zach Wilson's going to be a better quarterback. I can see that in like 3 years, maybe. I just think Lawrence's mechanics and everything right now is just spot on. And if you're going to build around a team, you got to start with Lawrence. Not only is he good, but he brings name recognition that's going to get you free agents, it's going to get you other draft picks that want to come and play for you and play hard for you. The reason you got Urban Meyer was because you got Trevor Lawrence. So you're going to be able to have that drawing power because everyone's heard of this kid. Everyone knows he's a winner. And you need to establish a winning culture in Jacksonville. Bring him in, name recognition, winning pedigree. Overall, just a solid pick. Next up is the New York Jets with my second best quarterback in the draft class, Zach Wilson, quarterback at BYU. I can see why some people will think he's the number one quarterback in this draft class, but I think Lawrence is more polished at this point. And despite the Jets having all these needs on their team, if I'm a new head coach or a new GM who didn't draft Sam Darnold and who just made a push for Deshaun Watson, who is similar to the Patrick Mahomes where they can improvise and make plays on the go and however they want to, that's Zach Wilson's game, and I can actually bring in my own guy who has the qualities that I look for in a quarterback to come in and start and use the rest of my draft capital to build around that person instead of building around Sam Darnold, who is someone I'm not entirely sold on myself. Now, number 3 is where this what I would do mock draft format really shows up, because most people in this scenario and what's probably going to happen in real life is they're going to trade down, but the Dolphins are going to stay put and they're going to take Penei Sewell, offensive tackle out of Oregon, immediate upgrade to Austin Jackson, left tackle, plug and play starter, strong, can help out your running game immediately, and give Tua that elite left tackle he's going to need, even though the right tackle is more the blind side. Put Austin Jackson on the right side, the right tackle where he's more comfortable at, and then move Robert Hunt to guard, which is his most comfortable position. You've immediately upgraded 3 spots on your offensive line, and you can go and get a center in free agency to replace Ted Karras, who was replaceable at best. So instead of trading down and getting draft capital, I take the best player available, who also happens to fill a need that can overall help my offensive line entirely and then help me push to make the playoffs next year. Next up at number 4 is the Atlanta Falcons. And this will be the pick I think I'm going to get the most pushback on, but it's going to be Kyle Pitts, tight end / wide receiver out of Florida. The Falcons are going to have Matt Ryan and Julio Jones for another year, maybe 2. After that, they're going to start looking for quarterbacks and new number 1 wide receiver. Pitts is that large body target that you can bring in and that can be that dominant number 1 receiving option for you on offense. I know Arthur Smith is probably going to want to establish a run game and run a lot of 2 tight end sets. Why not have a tight end out there that gives good effort in blocking and is literally one of the most dominant players in the passing game I've ever seen in my life in college football. Now you have someone who, when Julio leaves, can take over and play into the Arthur Smith run-heavy offense as an important piece of tight end. Be an ultimate mismatch for whatever corner or linebacker or safety you put on him. You can't find someone who's going to be able to cover this guy. And there's so many young options at quarterback out there right now in free agency and trade, and you have next year's draft as well. So if this year doesn't go right and you're like, okay, we need to start looking to get a new quarterback or something like that, you can use draft picks next year, especially if it goes that bad. With this move, you're getting your future Julio replacement, adding him with Julio already and Calvin Ridley, getting that Jonnu Smith kind of weapon for your offense, and just building up the offense around for when you eventually do get that rookie quarterback or bring in a younger quarterback to mentor like a Sam Darnold, Mitchell Trubisky, something like that, and having them in a great system that they can develop and learn, because we've all seen that putting a rookie quarterback in a good system is better than having them first and then trying to build a system around them afterwards. Next up at 5 is the Cincinnati Bengals taking Jamar Chase, wide receiver at LSU. I wanted them to go offensive lineman here just to help protect Joe Burrow, but I felt like getting wide receiver to replace AJ Green, who is this elite and who did their best work with Joe Burrow and LSU, was just a great fit. I would maybe look to move down here potentially, but I think grabbing Chase would be the best move possible with what you have on the board here. Also, I forgot Chase is only 20 years old, so having him, and he already has the chemistry, he's going to come in, make an immediate impact, and have so much room to grow to become an even better pro. I think this is probably the best situation he could land in at the top half of the draft. At 6th overall, we have another wide receiver going here to the Philadelphia Eagles with Devonta Smith, wide receiver out of Alabama. In my opinion, they're probably going to roll with Jalen Hurts. And if I'm the coach, I saw what Jalen Hurts could do last year, and I want to see if he's actually going to be my quarterback in the future. So I'm going to surround him with as many weapons and offensive linemen I can and isolate the variable on offense. If the offense doesn't perform, we know what the problem is. If Hurts struggles, we know it's on him. We know we have talent around him that could produce. If they can't, then we know we are going to have to move on from him next year. Meanwhile, Smith is just smooth route runner who can just go in, attack the middle of the field. They have Jalen Reagor on the outside who can be that vertical threat, and Smith will be able to work on his route running, use his route running to get open over the middle and attack with run after the catch and things like that. My one concern with him is he's a little skinnier, but I feel as though he will be able to avoid contact by taking safe catches, and he'll use his ability to route run to get away from defenders. As long as he's not led into hits, he should take minimum of them. Number 7 overall is our first trade of this entire mock draft, as the San Francisco 49ers move up to the 7th overall while also collecting the 170th overall pick from Detroit, who receives a 12th overall pick, 108th overall pick, and a 2022 second and 2022 fifth. The 49ers select Justin Fields, quarterback at Ohio State. The reasoning I have Detroit moving down is that the players I would have picked with this pick are still going to be available in those early 10s picks, and I feel like they can collect more draft capital to try to rebuild this team in the new coaching staff's image. And they're not in particular need of a quarterback right away since you still have Jared Goff under contract. And the reason I have Fields falling is because I'm not 100% sold on his ability to get off that first read. I know Justin Herbert showed that even though you're coached up in college to take that first read, you can get over that in the NFL, but he's an outlier. Everyone else who has done that so far in college has kind of struggled in the NFL, at least immediately. So I feel San Francisco can roll Fields out there, either scheme some things up with Kyle Shanahan, they'll take advantage of his first read and mobility, or if they keep Garoppolo on, they can keep him on for one more season before moving on, letting him sit, which would probably be the best scenario for the team as a whole. This is why I feel dropping the 7th, really, is that, in my opinion, he's going to need to either sit or have something schemed around him early on in his career, which is what I think San Francisco is, and I think that's his best spot right now. Back-to-back trades here, as Houston's now on the clock after sending Deshaun Watson to Carolina for the 8th overall pick, 73rd overall pick, 2022 first, 2023 first, Teddy Bridgewater, and Yetur Gross-Matos. And with the pick, Houston's going to take Trey Lance. Now, Carolina's been super aggressive with trying to get a quarterback because they think they can win now, especially after last season where they lost a bunch of one-score games, and their core is starting to build and grow together. Houston's going to get a bunch of picks like they want. Also, they get a bridge quarterback so that they have someone there for Lance to sit behind and, season up for 1 year before he comes out. And it's hopefully like that Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes type quarterback who actually wants to play for you. Houston's going to get a bunch of picks like they want. Also, they get a bridge quarterback so that they have someone there for Lance to sit behind and, season up for 1 year before he comes out. While also picking up a young second-year edge rusher out of Yetur Gross-Matos. The Panthers have Brian Burns, so they have a pass rusher. He was more of a secondary option. And Houston just needs to add younger defensive pieces, especially with the wake of losing J.J. Watt. They need to add some pass rushers, and especially younger ones. Lance will give you that extreme mobility and throwing power and just raw, untapped athletic potential to be someone like a Lamar Jackson, a Deshaun Watson, a Patrick Mahomes. And he's going to be able to be a difference maker if you allow him to sit on the bench, actually learn the game some more. He only threw like 300 passes in college, so he needs time to develop, which if you bring in Bridgewater is what you're going to give him, especially in Houston. And this coaching staff needs to know that they need to have more than just a year or two to get this team right with where Bill O'Brien left them, which is why I think Lance as a long-term project will fit with them. Our next pick is going to be pretty straightforward. The Broncos are going to need defensive backup, especially after last year and season, and seeing what kind of detriment they'll be in if they don't add any more quarterback talent. And me personally, the reason I don't have him taking like a quarterback here or trading back and letting someone else come up is because I am in full faith of Drew Lock being able to rebound and having a healthy offense around him, getting that together, and having a strong defense and letting that offense heal up again. And you know that the wide receivers and running backs and offensive line you're going to have out there are going to be solid. So now, like with the Eagles, you're isolating the variable. If Drew Lock can't perform this season as long as everyone stays healthy, then you know he's the problem. So here they go with Patrick Surtain, my top cornerback. He can just fit into any system. He's going to come in. Vic Fangio's going to utilize him to just shut down all the one receivers they face. And then they're going to get into some really tough defensive battles that hopefully Drew Lock can pilot them through. And for pick 10, another thing you'll see consistently mocked, so I'm not going to go too deep into the pick, is Caleb Farley, Virginia Tech cornerback, to the Dallas Cowboys. Dan Quinn is another defensive coordinator, likes to run a deep cover 3, needs some big, beefy corners like a Richard Sherman, which is what Caleb Farley is. Kind of similar to Richard Sherman, was a converted wide receiver. He's pretty consistent all around. My only hangups with him are going to be injury concern and lack of production, and he only had 1 year and then he opted out. Plus his other years he was cut short by injury, so I would like to see more film on him. From what I have seen, I like him. And I think that's why he's going to go a little behind Surtain, but he'll be coming in and be an instant starter across from Trayvon Diggs in this Dallas Cowboys defense. And they're going to have a really good pass coverage unit, good offense. Hopefully they can put it together this year. This is another straightforward pick. The Giants at 11, taking Jalen Waddle, wide receiver out of Alabama. True Tyreek Hill level disruption with speed and route running and being able to just make plays on the ball. I'm not as high on him as some people that I read, like the Draft Network, but his speed is elite and next level, and I expect him to come in and make a difference whenever team drafts him. Daniel Jones is a better deep ball thrower than I would have expected after going back and watching some old Giants games from this past season. And just looking at what they have on the roster, they could use an impact talent like Waddle in the passing game, especially if he's able to go in there and prove that his speed is as dangerous as some other guys, unlike a Henry Ruggs who kind of struggled to stay healthy and really make an impact last season consistently. If Waddle can come out and use that speed to pull safeties up out of the box, that would open up more running lanes for a newly healthy Saquon Barkley. Next up, the Lions are back on the clock now after moving back, and they're going to select Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State. I think they need to get an identity, and I feel like the identity this coaching staff is going to want to instill is hard-nosed football, strong defense with a bunch of talent on it, and that can really carry games with an offensive line that can just road grid people. Which is why I think they need to add more defensive talent on the defensive side of the ball. They have Jeff Okudah, who's like that, can develop into that blue chip prospect, top 15 cornerback. But at linebacker, you just need something extra, some pizzazz, some extra talent, because they're so devoid of it. It's kind of annoying. So Micah Parsons gives you that athletic freak for his size, great blitzer. He'll just go out there and you can scheme up things for him, or just let him just let loose, fly around, and make big plays on the ball. At 13, we got the LA Chargers, who are in desperate need of offensive line help to surround Justin Herbert with. They already have some wide receivers and some running backs there, and they got Brandon Staley to help reinvigorate that defense. Hopefully, Derwin James can stay healthy, but right now they're going to take Christian Darrisaw, offensive tackle of Virginia Tech. Very technically sound and has great mobility for a tackle prospect. Has room to put some weight on, get some more power in his game. For what he is right now, great left tackle option, especially for the Chargers. Can come in, play day one, and has room to grow into a Pro Bowl level talent. Up next is a dream scenario for the Minnesota Vikings at 14th overall, where they get Rashawn Slater. Big, mobile, great at the second level offensive tackle who can also play guard and center. Some people are even saying he could be a first-year All-Pro at guard or center if he comes in and plays. I'm super high on him. I actually have him higher than Christian Darrisaw, but I feel like Darrisaw is that prototypical left tackle where Slater is probably going to be better as a guard than a tackle, but he can still play a tackle. And, Minnesota can use help on that entire left side. So they can play him wherever they want, wherever they feel like he will fit best in their scheme. At 15, we got the New England Patriots, who are not taking Mac Jones. Instead, they'll be taking Zaven Collins, linebacker out of Tulsa. Starting off with Collins, he's that hybrid linebacker that Belichick loves in his scheme. A 3-4 outside linebacker who can drop in coverage? Sure. A 4-3 linebacker who can rush the passer amazingly? Also sure. He's just the best of both worlds with that, and he's just an athletic freak at the size he's at. Some people won't have him going this high, but I don't understand that at all. And the reason I don't have him going quarterback here, especially not Mac Jones is going to thrive in an offense where he can just distribute to playmakers, which the Patriots are very short on playmakers. And if I am the Patriots, I think I'm going to target one of these quarterbacks in the trade market or in free agency and use the rest of my money on offensive weapons. Right now they're being rumored to be going after Jimmy Garoppolo pretty hard. And in this draft scenario, they could get him. And that's why San Francisco moves up to get Justin Fields. Now, if they do end up getting Jimmy Garoppolo, I did not mock this here, but it is plausible for this scenario, they could draft Collins so that way he could come in and then make it room or make sense to start letting go of some of that defensive talent who's going to be older and asking for more money, save on cap space, and use that new cap space you're going to gain by releasing some of your defensive guys to sign some offensive playmakers. And at pick 16, we have Arizona moving down, collecting the 25th and 65th overall pick. So 2 pretty decent picks from Jacksonville, who moves up to 16th for Samuel Cosme. One of the next best tackles on my board. He has experience playing both left side and right side tackle. If you lose Cam Robinson, you need an immediate upgrade at tackle. You need to protect Trevor Lawrence. We saw last year with Joe Burrow on Cincinnati Bengals. If you don't protect your rookie quarterback, disaster can and will happen. So you need to protect him, give him time to work in the pocket and get adjusted to these NFL defenses that are going to change up their coverages and things like that post-snap, and let him have time to throw it and find these playmakers you do have on offense. And that's going to do it for the first half of this mock draft. Second half is going to be up right after this one, so the link will be right there to go right to it. If you liked my picks or didn't like them, tell me how you feel in the comments. Please like and subscribe. We do need a lot more subscribers. Most of our views are non-subscriber based, and I have a lot more draft content coming out, especially leading up for this next month or so. Other than that, though, we do have a weekly podcast that we do discussing all kinds of NFL topics.